Yo, what is up, y'all? It's Cruise Trades, and this video I'm gonna be going over the trade recap for today. But as of right now, you can see here, I actually just created a Blossom account, which tracks, my portfolio. I currently have 14 stocks in there, and so you can see my whole portfolio here, and kind of the holdings, right, that I have. So you can see Amazon, Meta, and AMD on my top three at the moment holdings, and then followed by SoFi and Nebius. Nebius was somewhere up here in the 10 to 13% range. However, I did end up trimming a third of my position, so you can see that. But if you want to stay up to date, make sure you drop me a follow. But yeah, let's get into the trade recap for today. Uh, So first off, you can see we have been for the longest in an uptrend. However, it seems like as of recently we've been breaking these lows but bouncing up on these support levels. You can see this here. We come here, we bounce, come here, we bounce. Now we're at these support levels. So low key we came down a bit lower than before. So this is on the 4 hour time frame with extended hours on. So let me remove this and this, and let's just go over the trade recap, right? So first off, you can tell I marked out my support levels here, here. You can see them, right? So I have this. Basically, I'll mark out like this one, right? So we marked those out, and let's zoom in, right? So let's start off with this real quick. So I'll show you guys exactly what I took and why. But for first off, as you can see in the 4 hour time frame, we ended up creating this 4 hour for value gap last, what was it, yesterday? Sorry. Yeah, we created this for value gap yesterday, this 4 hour one. So you can see, right? We created it yesterday right here. So what I expect price to come back in here, right? And then retrace lower, at least there, or we could come back all the way up here, right? And push lower or end up reversing, respecting it, sorry. And just we could have either respected it to the downside or inversed it to the upside, right? But you can see here clearly we are in a big move. So I mark out the fib and I zoom in, right? So you can see here, these are the levels of retracement that I can expect price to come into. Obviously, we have these two 4 hour for value gaps. So my idea is somewhere price will retrace somewhere into like this 0.5 level, which is in line with this 4 hour for value gap. However, keep in mind, we did have this pre-market move low, the lows, right? So I also marked that out in pre-market, which is more recent. So it could either be respected quicker or inverse quicker, right? And then we just legit just start, market open. So let's see. This is basically on the 3 minute, each kind of 3 minutes. So you can see here, nothing much happens, nothing much. These are already 9 minutes in. This is 12 minutes in, and then this is 15 minutes in. Not much is going on. I don't see any setups. You can see here we're respecting this somewhat. This retracement level. I can expect this to go up here and here. So right now I'm just being patient. And what do you see? That, right? So what I did was I entered this right here. I had this 3 minute fair value gap marked out that inversed, or not inverse, but broke through this high of day, which is, if you guys don't know, I trade the 15-minute opening range break. You can see here 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 minutes went by. We created a low of day and a high of day. And so I just wait for either to be broken with a fair value gap on like the 3 minute, maybe the 2 minute or the 5 minute, just depending on volume. You can see here, and volume is somewhat okay. So I ended up going in pretty light size with like 200 bucks. And the idea was to take this trade. The idea was to honestly take it like all the way up here, right? All the way to this 4 hour fair value gap. Top loss would have been somewhere here, back into this range. Or if we back into this range, and if we invited these EMAs, right? However, I kind of you can see here, this is where I ended up adding actually somewhere up here, to be honest, like somewhere right here or something like that. So not that best entry, but I still got in with like 200 bucks. The idea was to add more down here, but I didn't really want to just because I felt okay with risking 200 bucks and market was kind of moving slow. And I noticed, right, we were hitting this. We go 3 more minutes. We hit this high, but then we kind of drop on volume, right? We don't really have much going on. So what I did was, okay, I'm gonna move my take profit a bit closer. So I moved it there to this 0.618 level, and we just let the trade play out, right? So my stop loss would have been, like I said, back into this range, below this high of day that we created right here, and below those EMAs, right? And of course, kind of closure below that 3 minute fair value gap. And lo and behold, what happens? Boom, take profit gets hit, take my profits 20 or 25%. So I made like 45 or 50 bucks in like, what was this? Basically, that was what? 657 to 709 in 12 minutes. In 12 minutes, made 50 bucks. I'll take that all day, every day. And yeah, we ended up, basically chopping out for the rest of the day. Not much going on. So glad I took my profits there and just called it a day, right? On top of that, I ended up entering a swing on Nike. I added some shares as well yesterday. I added some shares somewhere like up here, 53s, like mid to high 53s. And today, seeing that we were kind of pretty close to the support and we ended up making a good little recovery, I ended up adding somewhere here some May 15 calls. So I'm in those right now. So we have about 2 months on those contracts. So we'll see how they play out. But yeah, that's currently what I'm in right now. I'm also in Zeta, of course. Um, I've been in it for about almost 3 weeks now. Um, we were up around 20 or 30%, I want to say. But, it's a leap. I have it until January 2027. The idea is to target well above these highs right here. So well above. Basically, the idea is to target 30s up here, even like all these highs up here. So we will just give it time, right? Um, you can't time the market, but you can dictate how much time you have in the market. And so you ideally want to be in the market for a long time. You never want to time the market. So yeah, that's it for today. Um, let's actually go over kind of what my thoughts are on tomorrow. So basically Friday, March 20th. Let's see what I'm thinking, right? So like I said already, we have this 4 hour fair value gap, and let me delete this, delete that. So we have that 4 hour fair value gap, and it seems like we ended up bouncing off that support, right? Off of 655.86 on SPY. So we bounced off of that. We respected it a couple times, and now we're bouncing. I can either see us rejecting this 4 hour value gap either here and like going lower to these supports, or I could see us also do something like this, go a bit higher, then make the move lower, or price could even go all the way up here, somewhere up here, and then go lower. But low key, you know, if I don't want my portfolio to like completely die, I'd want it to see something like this. This, come up, boom, boom. But if you guys want the best like entries and whatnot for like long-term investing, we ideally want to see us go a bit lower, flush all the way down here. Ideally taking out these support levels from like a while back, like these right here, including this one right here. Right there, that red one at 650.85. So ideally you want to see that be taken out and basically fill all these orders that are down here and stop out all the puts or the short positions that have their like stop loss here, or stop out all the long positions, sorry, that have their stop loss here, so that way you have more liquidity in the market. as you know, the market's usually always looking to generate liquidity and balance or rebalance the equilibriums. So, you know, you have people that long somewhere here or up here and they have their stop loss right there. If price goes down lower, they end up getting stopped out just for price to kind of undercut that and go higher, right? So that's something to keep an eye out on or keep an eye on. But yeah, be live trading in the premium tomorrow, bright and early, 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. So yeah, God bless. Peace.